the Prime Minister had begun his fasting on the 12th of January. It's been nearly 10 days. He's been sleeping on the floor, consuming only coconut water. Talk to us about why these practices are also important. Is this a purification process leading up to the consecration ceremony? If you can explain that further.
Yes, it is a purification practice. It is also a tapas. He is carrying and developing this higher Agni, this deeper fire of awareness. In fact, I have to say, I just wrote something about that, but I have to say that here as well. You cannot find another leader in the world with that amount of dedication, service, self-discipline, humility, self-sacrifice, offering what he is doing. He is the greatest sevak, he is the greatest sadhak, and he is doing this not only for the benefit of Bharat, but for the benefit of everyone, because Sri Ram is for all. So he has undergone this tapas for the benefit of all these factors. And I don't think there's been any Indian Prime Minister that's attempted this. And he is doing it with such singular dedication. He wants this done right for the benefit of all, and he's willing to sacrifice everything he is doing for that.
Right.
Tremendous focus. So we must feel honored for his action, and it is a great boon to have such a leader for the country today, particularly in the world today where leadership seems to be hardly found.
Absolutely, sir. You're right. Prime Minister Modi had adopted a strict regime ahead of the consecration for about 11 days for this holy occasion. I also wanted to understand from you, sir, we've been seeing this entire week leading up to the consecration. We've seen a lot of festivities. We've also seen Prime Minister Narendra Modi visit several temples across the nation. What can you tell us of the significance of this?
He wants to bring, Narendra Modi wants to bring all the energy of all the temples in India to Ayodhya. And then all that energy of Ayodhya can go back to all the temples of India, awakening and uniting all the temples, all their powers, their Shakti, their Devatas. So it's not just an awakening in Ayodhya of the Ram Mandir, it is awakening in the consciousness of India, all the temples, all the Devatas, reconcentrating and reconsecrating India as a sacred land, India as a land of higher consciousness for the benefit of all.
All right, now also just bringing you the visuals that are coming in live from
Those
Ayodhya.
are the RSS chief, Mohan Bhagwat, sitting right next to
absolutely.
the Indian Prime Minister. And while hymns are being chanted at the back, there are pundits who are sitting at the back.
Mr. Frawley, I would also want to understand from you, how do you see the Ram Mandir's consecration as a moment of cultural and spiritual synthesis, and what sort of a global impact will this have?
Well, first of all, it has an impact, we say, on the subtle planes. It's not just in the physical realm. It has an impact that is connected to the earth consciousness itself, that is connected to the sun. Sri Ram is avatar of the sun, that is connected to all the forces of prana. Hanuman himself is the Vayu Putra. He also holds all the healing pranas. So it's happening on levels that the ordinary person and even scientists today don't know. There are many subtle forces in the universe we're just beginning to touch. And the Indian tradition, the temple worship, has a way of drawing that into our environment and making it part of our lives. Puja is a science. The temple is a miniature of the entire universe. It's a conduit for higher electrical, spiritual, Shakti forces. And this is all happening by a power of devotion as well as by a power of knowledge. And it's setting in motion an increasing vibratory force until that vibratory force reaches a level of another stage of transformation. So we're witnessing something you might say almost miraculous, although it is happening in an area we can't see so easily, but we can feel the inspiration coming forth from it and going beyond all limitations.
Right, of course, the consecration ceremony is underway. As you can see, these are the visuals that we're getting from the Ram Temple in Ayodhya. Now, the consecration, here are just some factoids before we go on to the next question. The consecration ceremony is being graced by 92 invitees representing 50 countries as state guests. And besides, there will be 15 yajmans drawn from different social groups as well that will be accompanying the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, as I mentioned earlier, also will remain inside the complex for about 3.5 hours for the ceremony, following which there will be a public address. And also here's another interesting point here. Music instruments from about 25 states will be played for nearly 2 hours, and that's to produce the Mangal Dhwani that starts before the rituals at 12:20, just minutes away from that.
Yes, and not to forget, the entire city has been decorated with 2,500 quintals of flowers. Sitting right next to the Indian Prime Minister is Mohan Bhagwat, the RSS chief, and we just saw the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister passing by right behind Yogi Adityanath, who's also right there. We will be having him in frame as well. And now, of course, the Prime Minister, along with Mr. Bhagwat, of course, they're sitting there, and the proceedings are just about to start. It's about 12:17. We're just minutes away from the Pran Pratishtha ceremony, which is scheduled to begin. 3 minutes, 12:20 is when it begins. And between 12:29 and 12:30, within just 84 seconds, the Mool Muhurat will be in the Mool Muhurat. That is what it is. Dr. Frawley, if we could get your thoughts on this, if you can explain essentially what's the difference between the entire time from 12:20 to 12:30 and the Mool Muhurat, which is just for that 84-second period of time. What is the Mool Muhurat?
Well, the moon is in also a very special place. It is in the Mrigashira nakshatra. And Mrigashira actually marks the point, you might say, opposite the galactic center in which the energy can transcend. It also represents the you might say the crown chakra, or the 1,000-petal lotus of the head. And it is a place of transformation, the nectar of Soma, the power of immortality, and the ability to bring in the energy of higher awareness and even a Shiva-type level of consciousness. So in other words, it is a celestial event. It is aligned with the higher stellar forces, and also along with them, it aligns the Earth to these patterns of cosmic energy. And this was well known to the great rishis and sages, and all these inner connections involved. So we can feel this transformation of energy that is coming in, the descent of Sri Ram. It's not just energizing the Murti. I don't like the term idol, by the way. It is the Murti, the Vigraha, and that is able then to hold and serve as a base for Sri Ram to manifest, and for Sri Ram then to his energy to spread throughout Ayodhya, throughout Bharat, and then, of course, throughout the world.
Dr. Frawley, we had earlier seen, the helicopters showering petals all over, and we saw aerial drone shots when the Prime Minister was arriving in Ayodhya. As of now, the priest had placed a lotus flower in the Prime Minister's hand. If you can explain the relevance of the lotus flower, which we see in pujas, as we're seeing right now as well.
Well, the lotus is the symbol of unfoldment. We all have that divine seed flower within us, but we need to let it unfold. It also symbolizes the unfolding of all the chakras within us, and above all, the 1,000-petal lotus of the head. Everything in the universe is an unfoldment of divine energies, like flowers, lotuses, or they call the apam pushpam, the flowers of space. And even around the planets, there are energy magnetic fields that are like lotuses. So we need to awaken to that inner flowering. And this spreading of the flowers also connects then to the cosmic flowers as well, and connects us to these celestial realms. Earth is just the place where we're visiting for a time. Our inner being also dwells in all these subtle realms and can experience the wonder, the ananda of all life and the entire universe. And Sri Ram carries that energy. Ma Sita carries that energy. She holds all the forces of the earth. Hanumanji carries all the energetic powers of the atmosphere. These are not just idols or human imaginations. These are ways cosmic forces, powers of higher consciousness manifest for us, and we can begin to access them. And this is the ideal time to do it within and around us.
All right, Dr. Frawley, of course, we've been talking about how this event is being seen as the rebirth of Ayodhya. We've seen various developmental projects that have been undertaken as well, the revamping of the 4 Vedic paths as well. In your view, what is the cultural significance of Ram Mandir in the contemporary Indian society and, of course, beyond as well?
Well, you have to understand that the Ram Mandir is a focus of energy, aspiration, motivation, and also a focus through which Ram can guide us and direct us to do what is best, most dharmic, and most transformational. You know, we make a lot about our computers and our AI, but the Mandir itself is kind of a celestial doorway. It's a miniature of the entire universe. It connects to all kinds of subtle energies. Of course, we use the tanmatras of the 5 elements, fragrance for earth and so forth. And it's built in such a way that these forces can come in, be held, can circulate and expand. So I think we must awaken that temple tradition in India and the world, because these are not just places where people just kind of pray and kind of just put out what they would like to get or achieve. These are temples of meditation, temples of yoga. They connect us to the subtle energies of the universe. Humanity needs new temples, but we need to understand how they work and let them work within us. Our body itself should be a temple. Our mind itself should be a temple. Not that we're worshiping something in the distance, but that we're discovering the sacred nature and workings of all the world around us and all the forces within us.
Dr. Frawley, stay with us. We'll just cut back to the visuals from the Ram Mandir with the Prime Minister, who is inside at the moment. The Pran Pratishtha ceremony is just about to start. Here is a glimpse from inside the temple.
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी इस जगत के कल्याण की कामना करने के लिए संकल्पबद्ध हो रहे हैं और भारत को, भारतीयता को, सनातन धर्म को शांति और सद्भावना के प्रसार के लिए जो सनातन धर्म में जो ये अद्भुत कार्य किया है, उसको आगे बढ़ाते हुए प्रधानमंत्री आज इस
ये भावना हमेशा घनीभूत रही। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी वो क्षण देखा जब राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम।